Hi, Simon Chapple here. I'm the Quit Alcohol Coach. Welcome to the second part of the video to help you learn how to quit alcohol on your own easily without any willpower. Well, you might need a little bit of willpower in the first week or two. If you haven't watched the first part of the video, make sure you do that now. You can click the link that's right above my head at the moment and then come back to part two right here afterwards. And also, if you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please make sure you do that so you get notified. You need to click the bell notification because that will give you reminders when new videos are released. So without further ado, let's get into the final 6 tips and steps to help you quit drinking on your own easily. The next tip is around moderate drinking. Many people who drink heavily think that there must be some kind of middle ground where they can at least hang on to their drinking habit rather than giving it up altogether. Now, in my experience, people who buy quit drinking books, watch videos about quitting alcohol, and join programs and Facebook sobriety groups tend not to be people who can drink moderately. They tend to be all or nothing type individuals. I certainly was. So you need to know, if that sounds familiar, that moderate drinking is not going to be an option. However, for many people, moderate drinking seems to be a rite of passage into sobriety, and they feel that they have to explore it. Now, I can tell you from personal experience and the experience of thousands of people that I've worked with, that moderate drinking hardly ever works for anybody. It actually just puts us in a place where we experience significant discomfort. You might have felt a sense of internal conflict before you quit drinking, with your subconscious mind telling you that your drinking's fine, just carry on as you are. But your conscious mind is saying to you, you need to stop. You need to give this up. It's causing you problems. It's damaging your health, your relationships. It's making you a bad parent. It's affecting your career. Whatever it might be, the two sides are at war in your mind and there's an internal conflict going on. If you drink moderately, you still end up with that same sense of internal conflict. And it actually feels worse because you feel like you're missing out on your normal drinking. The whole key to quitting drinking successfully is getting your conscious mind and your subconscious mind in harmony so that there is no internal conflict. And when there's no internal conflict, it's peaceful. And that's a wonderful place to be. And the way to do that is by educating yourself, watching videos, reading blog posts about quitting drinking, listening to sobriety podcasts, joining programs, checking out Facebook sobriety groups, whatever feels right for you. Continue to educate yourself. And the more you do, the more your subconscious mind will get on the same page and start to believe that an alcohol-free life is the right choice for you. But moderate drinking is painful. I've heard it time and time again. Now, you might listen to this and you might still go and try moderate drinking, and that's absolutely fine. If you do, just log the data, learn what it's telling you, write down how it's making you feel when you can't drink as much as you normally did, or you don't start drinking at the same time as usual. I even got to a point where I was watering down my wine because I was finding it so hard to let go of it for good. But eventually I did, and eventually my mindset changed. But try and come at this with an understanding that moderation really isn't something that's going to work for you, in my humble opinion. Tip number 7. I want you to think like a liquid vegan. Now you're thinking, what on earth is he talking about? And if you haven't watched my video, why we need to think like vegans, I would definitely check that out. And what I mean by this is it's all coming back to our mindset and the perspective that we take around this. If you think about somebody who's vegan, you don't see them sat in the corner feeling miserable, crying because they can't have meat or they can't have dairy products. They are so proud of their lifestyle choice. They're passionate about what they do. They own it. They live it. Sure, it may not define them, and this doesn't need to define you, but it's certainly part of who they are, and they feel really empowered in what they're doing. I want you to think like that. I call it being a liquid vegan. Where we see this as a complete lifestyle choice that we've made for ourselves. We feel really empowered in what we're doing. We're not doing it for anyone else. Nobody's holding a gun to our head. We just feel really excited and really motivated about everything that we're doing in order to change our lives for the better. So start thinking like a vegan. And I highly recommend checking out the video on my channel, Why We Need to Think Like Vegans, because it will talk to you more around getting that right sense of mindset and getting yourself in the right headspace to absolutely smash your sobriety. The eighth step in this is to learn from any setbacks. Now, you have to understand that almost everybody has some kind of setback or slip up on their journey to quitting drinking. When we've carried out the same habit day in, day out for often decades, it doesn't always happen first time around. You need to think about this rather like learning a new skill. You're not going to be the master of it the first time you try it. So it's almost worth expecting to probably have a slip up. I certainly had more day ones than I care to remember. There were plenty of tears and meltdowns and overwhelming feelings where I thought I was never going to be able to break free from alcohol. But I learned from those setbacks. Every time I had a setback, I looked at the information that it was giving me. And from that, I knew I needed to change certain things. It might be certain people that I was aligning myself with, certain rituals, or certain things in my environment that I knew I needed to change. So I used every setback as an opportunity for an even bigger comeback. And I used it as a learning opportunity. And over time, I got to a place where there were no more setbacks. I didn't have any desire to drink, and there was nothing around me that was going to cause me to have a slip up and take a drink, even if I did want one. Of course, my mindset had finally got to a place where I felt like I just didn't want to drink any longer, rather than feeling like I can't actually have a drink. But regardless of that, making sure that I'd used any setbacks along the way to help me grow stronger really did ensure that I was set for success and that I grew as I went on this journey. And I want you to do exactly the same if you encounter any setbacks. The ninth step is for you to learn to feel your feelings. You've probably heard me talking about the link between addiction and childhood emotional neglect and trauma. It seems to be a theme that happens with many people who find themselves addicted to alcohol. We often had parents who may not have given us the right level of emotional support. They might have been far too permissive, or they might have been overbearing, or they might have only given love conditional on success in school. Or you could have had siblings who were bullying or made you feel inferior. Emotional neglect can come in so many different shapes, sizes, and forms. So keep your mind open, because many people tell me that they think they had the perfect childhood. But when they start digging into it, they realize that actually there were some pieces missing that have caused them to hide away from their feelings by drinking. And that's exactly what many heavy drinkers do. We suppress our feelings, we avoid feeling the feelings because of issues normally going right back to our childhood. But you don't need to worry about your childhood right now. All I would want you to do as you go forward is understand that you're going to start feeling those feelings. You're not going to be running away from them any longer. And that can be quite uncomfortable. The good feelings, they feel great. So enjoy them. I remember the first time I started to feel true happiness and a true sense of love and empathy and compassion, which I'd suppressed for so many years. I'd put a big brick wall up around me where I didn't let emotions in and I didn't let emotions out. And I certainly didn't feel my feelings. So it's a wonderful thing. You're connecting with the true version of yourself because you're not using alcohol as a false armor to hide away from these things. But the uncomfortable feelings can be a challenge, and you're going to need to learn how to feel them. I highly recommend using meditation and mindfulness practice to be able to do that. But at the start, it can be rather strange. And if you can understand that you are going to go through a period where you learn to feel those feelings, there can even be a process of grieving when we let go of alcohol. And depending on how much you drank, that can be quite a strong feeling. And of course, that can come with a sense of sadness, anger, worry, fear, you name it. You can get hit by all sorts of feelings and emotions. But if you can learn that you're going to feel these feelings, you're not going to let them overwhelm you. There's some amazing tactics on my channel. I recommend trying to feel the feelings in your body when you do breathing exercises rather than letting them overwhelm you in your head. So meditation where you actually breathe the feelings in and breathe the feelings out again can be an excellent way to start to connect with your true feelings. And I also recommend labeling the feelings. When you feel something, for example, sadness, speak it out loud. Put a label on what that feeling is. And it can be a wonderful experience. And every time it happens, remind yourself that this is you starting to connect with yourself and feel those feelings that you probably haven't felt in a very, very long time. The 10th step is to fully understand that this is like learning a new skill. I mentioned it before, but you're not going to be the master of it overnight. Come at it with a sense that you've got to go on a journey of discovery and a journey of learning, and you need to educate yourself. I know people who I work with who watch one or two of my videos every day. They've always got one or another quit drinking book on the go, and they listen to sobriety podcasts all the time, as well as engaging in Facebook sobriety groups to make sure that they're constantly evolving and constantly learning. If you can think of it as if you're learning a new skill or you've taken on a new hobby and you know that you're not going to be perfect at it straight away, then you can begin to move through those stages of educating yourself, then starting to put what you've learned into practice, and then going out gently into the real world, taking baby steps to start with before you grow stronger and stronger and eventually get to a point where you completely master it and you're not thinking about alcohol at all. You're actually living your best life and enjoying yourself. But make sure you're realistic about it and you understand that you're not just going to crack it immediately. There's going to be a learning phase and you're going to have challenges come up. That doesn't mean you can't overcome the challenges, but just know that you're going to go on a journey of discovery and you need to make sure you continually educate yourself. And the 11th tip ties in quite nicely with that. Along with educating yourself, you must make sure you're journaling every single day. Now, I know it might sound like a pain in the butt to write in your journal every single day, but it's really, really important. I can't tell you how much it helps to get those feelings, those emotions, those thoughts out of your head and onto paper. So even if you just commit 5 or 10 minutes every day to journaling, that's enough as long as you're doing it. And you might just write down a bullet pointed summary, or you might just keep a tally of difficult cravings, uncomfortable feelings, or any successes or breakthroughs that you've had on your journey. But you must get the data down and you must use a journal as a way of getting your emotions, feelings, thoughts, any sort of discomfort, any successes, any breakthroughs, get them all down onto paper. And you'll find, even if you just do this for a week to see how it feels for you, you will absolutely find that it really, really helps. Many people I work with credit journaling as one of the biggest and best tools that help them get sober. And finally, when you do quit drinking, you're going to have a lot of time on your hands. And I don't want you sitting around feeling bored and feeling miserable, wishing that you could drink again. Instead, take the time to think about what hobbies, pastimes, and activities you could do that will bring you absolute joy. And what I mean by that is, what are the things, the activities that you do that when you do them, you simply lose track of time because you become so immersed in doing it? And often these are things from our past, maybe even when we were kids, things like art, crafts, sports that we used to absolutely love. And then alcohol took over and it didn't seem fun any longer because alcohol sucks the joy out of the things in life that should bring us true happiness. So reconnect with those things. Take some time before you quit or in the early stages to find out what it is you really love and what you would really like to do with all that time. And then get off your butt. Go do it and go enjoy it. Immerse yourself. Find those hobbies. Rediscover and reconnect with the activities that you maybe haven't done for years and years. And it will make you feel so good about yourself. It will give you a sense of purpose and a sense of real enjoyment and happiness when you do it. So there we are. That's 12 tips that's going to help you quit drinking successfully on your own. as I said, there's a bunch of videos on my channel that are going to give you even more tips and delve into each of those topics in much more depth. If you enjoy the videos on my channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification. There's new videos every Tuesday and every single Thursday. And if you need more support when you quit drinking, come join my program at joinbesober.com. You can try it free for 14 days and it really will give you so much support. It will give you strategies, tactics, tips and tools, and it will connect you with an amazing community of people. I hope those 12 tips helped you.